We on the move with a GH.
Yes, sir.
What's
Hood
good
vlogs. Take y'all down the way.
Right.
Show you what it's hitting for.
Yo, so Devin Haney, I saw Devin Haney and Gabe get into it.
Yeah.
And then I saw Bill and Gabe get into it on the Boxing Voice.
Yeah.
What'd you make of the whole thing, yo?
From my understanding, it came from Gabe breaking down the fight with him and what's his name?
Jose
Ramirez. And Gabe basically saying that he think that was the wrong guy to choose for a comeback fight. Fair, that's just his assessment. You know what I mean? That don't mean that it's true. The way Dev responded, I don't agree with, because go in there and show and prove. You know what I mean? If you go in there and do what you gotta do, that what he said will never matter. But then they had like a little back and forth on Twitter a little bit, but then Bill got on the joint with Gabe. I guess they was on what was that?
The Boxing Voice.
Boxing Voice. They was on there, and you know they going back and forth. And I felt like the little bit I heard about Bill saying, you know, that's because your father ain't in your life and things like that. I felt like that was unnecessary. I felt like that was kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. I ain't really like how that went. I felt like that was kind of like, Gabe got a totally different career. Gabe started boxing at 18, turned pro after 11 fights. Gabe was just learning on the job. So Gabe's career was supposed to go that way when you go about it that way. You know what I'm saying? Which he wasn't supposed to make it that far. That's what people don't understand about Gabe. Gabe actually turned nothing into something. That's hard to do. Now, when you got guys around you who know the business and your father's helping and he know the business, and he got the money to fund the opponents and things like that, it's different. And, you know, Devin Haney is a great fighter and Gabe Rosado is a great fighter. But I don't think trying to kick a man about not being champion and all that, I don't think that's like cool, because it's like it was a totally different situation. I can't judge a man for how he lived, you know what I mean, if I haven't lived in his shoes. And I think it's a lot of that going on out here. You know what I mean? People judging and saying how somebody living ain't right, or they ain't got money, or this and that. It's like, bro, you don't understand what nobody went through, so how can you speak like that? That part of it I didn't like. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was cool.
For me, I didn't like none of it, right? I felt like Dev was wrong with how he reacted to Jose to Gabe analyzing the Jose Ramirez fight. It's a tough fight.
Yeah. And
you Devin Haney, you take tough fights, right? So it is a tough, dangerous fight, and if you win, you're going to get all the credit that you deserve in my book, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like what Bill said. I thought it was unnecessary to make it personal, but I also didn't like what Gabe said after the interaction with Dev. Calling him a pussy for suing and this and that. Like, other fighters have sued other fighters. Gabe wouldn't call Steve Cunningham a pussy. He wouldn't call Floyd Mayweather a pussy. Don't call Dev a pussy.
Yeah.
There's a difference between an actual fight, like suing somebody for getting into a fight on the streets, as opposed to suing somebody for violating the terms of an agreement that, terms of a contract.
Yeah.
It's two completely different things. He's not a pussy for that, though.
Yeah. And I think Gabe probably was just mad at that point. I mean, mad that, see, it's one thing when a fighter going at you, but when somebody dad going at you that didn't fight, that's kind of like, oh, hey, what you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You never been through none of this. Everything that you saying or talking about, his son was champion. He wasn't champion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I think when Gabe started talking like that, Gabe might have just been mad. Like, man, you a pussy. You suing motherfuckers for beating you up. Even though we know it was a lot more, you know, involved. But, you know, overall, I ain't like it just because there was a lot of unnecessary shit that was being said. And I feel like we can't get nowhere when it's like that. When we just talking shit, like, we not getting nowhere.
Now it becomes personal.
Yeah.
Last part, I don't like to be critical with too many things. I fucks with Bill, fucks with Gabe, I fucks with Dev.
Right.
In that situation, I don't think Dev needed no backup.
Right.
Like, it was two fighters talking shit. if it go any further than that, which I doubt it, they two fighters.
Right.
They can handle that. Like Dev's a man.
Right.
Dev's a man now, and Dev can fight his own battles.
Right. And that's the thing, right? These old heads that's in the game with their sons, a lot of them realizes that they raised their sons to be good kids. So whenever they are up against something real or something that's threatening, they step in. But he a grown man, so you gotta let him be a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he say and do, he gotta take what come with it. We all know that. That's what come with being a grown man. So I don't like that part where it's always like you gotta jump in and, I mean, that's how your son felt. He said some cool shit. Gabe said some cool shit back. That's all it was. It wasn't gonna go no further. It wasn't gonna go in. I only step in for my sons, and my sons is still young boys. My sons is 18 and 14. But I only step in with them when somebody start talking about violence. When you start talking about violence, then I'm stepping in. Because all that other shit is kid shit. You know what I'm saying? But if a motherfucker start talking about hurting my sons, then that's when you got a problem with me. But you know, everybody is different. You know what I mean? And I feel like Bill probably being a father, you know what I mean? You gotta be there for your kids. That's true. But I think the fact that Bill tried to throw that in Gabe's face, like, oh, your father wasn't there, you was a bastard, all this, like, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know what I mean? To say stuff like that because you know you're a great father. But if you know you're a great father, be a great father. You know what I mean? That's it. You don't gotta do nothing else.
I feel like Bill's a great father. He got to trust in his fathering. Like, and I'm speaking as a son.
Right.
You know, my pop at times wanted to micromanage. Just like, yo, trust that you gave me everything that I needed. I got it.
Right.
Like, I remember everything you taught me. If I need a consultation, I'll get one.
Right. Real shit. I just hope, you know what I mean, it don't go no further because it don't need.
Definitely don't need to.
Yeah.
Especially over just an opinion about a fight.
And all right, and I'm glad we're talking about this because what bothers me about fighters getting mad about fighters making an opinion. How can you get mad at a fighter for making an opinion, but then you don't get mad at Mark Kriegel? You don't get mad at Teddy Atlas. You don't get mad at, you know what I mean, what's the other guy? There's a bunch of them that be talking. How come y'all don't get mad at them guys? How come y'all don't talk shit to them? Bill did his part checking one of the commentators at the press conference. Cool. But the fighters, how come y'all so quick to get mad at the fighters and coaches, but y'all don't get mad at these dudes that never ever laced up a pair of gloves? You know what I mean?
Dudes get mad at me though.
Yeah.
And I ain't got no fights yet. So, but I feel you. I agree.
Right. I just think that part is crazy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, as long as they saying it, all right, I ain't worried about it. But I think it's based off of who knows who. You know what I mean? If you ask who knows Gabe Rosado compared to a Mark Kriegel, most people know Gabe Rosado. So I think it's based off of that.
I mean, they do. Gabe Rosado's been in fucking movies, so.
Yeah. I think it's based off of that.